Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. In our third and possibly final video, planned video, that is, of this Friday, we've got Susie Evans talking about how she doesn't talk to Clayton, and she's on the Us Weekly podcast. And we got a comment from somebody who said this: is Susie pretty much saying they didn't trust Nick? I don't blame them. Nick Viall, that is. Not exactly, but she does mention how she wanted to go on a podcast with Caitlin Bristow, with Clayton Echard, and share their story. And I guess maybe that's a subtle dig at Nick, but we do have a weird little podcast wars between Nick and Caitlin. That's pretty much the sort of fight that they're both having to see who can land the first guest. As we all know, the first conversation after being on the show, whether it be Rachel Recchia, Katie Thurston, whoever it is, that's a big one. That's big on the numbers. We know Nick had mentioned yesterday that his conversation with Greg Garippo and Victoria Fuller was his highest downloaded podcast. So very lucrative game that they're all playing here. So we're going to get into what Susie had to say. I have to tell you this, as far as composition goes, it's a low quality video. With that said, no one's ever looked better than Susie Evans in this low quality video. I mean, look, she looks like a hand painted, like an oil painting by, I don't know, Monet. He doesn't do portrait, whatever. Either way, the point being is that nobody's more camera ready than Susie Evans. I don't know, is it the center part or the eyebrows? We don't know. We love you, Susie. Susie Evans was brought to tears by ex Clayton Echard's last outreach. Explains why they don't keep up. So I'm going to share that, why Clayton Echard made her cry. It was for good reasons. The more we learn about the way Clayton Echard and Susie Evans talk about each other, the more we should value them as good people. They both showed grace and empathy and how to end a relationship and be kind to each other. Not exactly great for the old YouTube drama club, but good regardless. Let's have a listen.
Neither of us wanted to say anything that was going to make the other person look bad, because we both loved each other. Like,
Susie, that doesn't pay the bills.
We truly did feel love for each other at like a human level before even a relationship.
One of your first posts was about breakups. And I liked that you wrote about Googling, can you love someone and not be compatible? I thought that was telling and interesting and probably relatable. Is that how you would kind of describe why maybe things didn't work with you and Clayton? You loved him, but you just weren't compatible.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the big conclusions that I've come to. And I even think that was one of the things I struggled with in our relationship, was that I kept I just kept having this feeling like I don't think like at the root of who we are and like our expectations in relationships.
Yeah, she looks beautiful at all times. Bruce said Susie could get hit by a runaway pack of alpacas and she would still be beautiful. Yeah, I mean, that would be a wild story. Next thing you know, Susie's, got that alpaca, and she like, rather than Spider-Man, it's Alpaca Woman starring Susie Evans. She just has like, she walks on all fours. Okay, either way, you cut her hair off to make, a merino wool. Is that what alpacas are for? All right, we don't know. Either way, she's got a new blog out. Susie, here's what's great about Susie. She's going to do very well with social media, with her videography skills, her editing skills, photography, very, very good stuff. I hope that her blog includes a lot of vlogging, because as nice as it is to see someone's writing and everything, we live in a visual medium. It'd be great to see her day to day with her aesthetic. We got to get Susie. I've talked to Susie about buying her a drone. Not me buying her one, but I'm like, you got to get one of these drones, the vertical ones. I think they have one. Either way.
I don't know that we are compatible. And I think that I struggled with feeling like it came natural. And certainly like not every relationship's going to be natural or easy, but I think that there were like I think it was like ultimately like expectations of like, what do you want in a partner? What do you want from yourself? And like all of those kind of things. And we just weren't really like aligned on those things. So I think it's tough. And I wrote also in that article on the blog where it's like, you really got to vet people before you fall in love with them, because when you fall in love with somebody, it doesn't matter if you're compatible, like you have love for them and you care about them. And then like making the decision to break up becomes even more complicated, because you're like, like, I love you and I don't want to let go of you, but
I love you and I don't want to let go of you. For me, I'm a hopeless, but I always feel like, what do you mean you're not compatible? What you have to, and maybe we're all selfish until we're not. But, and again, I'm sure there's some truth to what she's saying, but I feel like you have to make some sort of, you got to meet somewhere in the middle. Like, you have to be, to be compatible is to be flexible in. And again, maybe there's things we don't know, but it's like to be flexible in your goals versus your partner's goals and find a way to make them both work. It's kind of like, it's like you have to hold on to each other as you climb in, rise up. You have to build with each other. Either way, speaking of building with each other, I'm live on the Patreon right now, patreon.com/Dave Neal for all the private bonus content. And we shared a lot of it today. Go to Patreon. Teresa just posted, Elizabeth, is this your first comedy show with Dave? I have a show tonight, and one of our audience members is coming from Pennsylvania. And last night, Luis brought her daughter from Pennsylvania, 2.5 hour drive. So I feel like I don't want to give superlatives for like who's the subscriber of the week, but everyone who came to a stand-up show in the last week is a subscriber of the week. We had 3 couples came from Boston to the Rhode Island show and stayed in a hotel. We have people coming from Pennsylvania and Connecticut. And then Elizabeth said it's her first time coming. It's going to be a top 3 night of 2022. Hey, no pressure to me, Elizabeth. I haven't bombed yet on any of my shows, so I feel like I'm going to bomb tonight. But either way, you'll get to live in the misery if that happens.
But like, this is not good for us anymore. So I think that ultimately is kind of the conclusion I came to. And it was good to be able to write it out in my blog and like express it in words.
I would imagine that's what a lot of, speaking generally, Bachelor Nation couples go through, because the love is there and we watch that part and then it ends and no one understands these vague statements of it just didn't work and everyone wants this answer, wants to hear this like crazy whatever. But I think it's just like in that environment, in fairy tale land, it was great, but in real world, it wasn't. And I don't think there's any way to change that.
Their social media was so good. They made great videos together.
It is, but I feel like that's more common than like the big explosive thing. But people want like specifics and answers and to hear something crazy happened.
Exactly. And that's actually why we wanted to do that podcast specifically with Caitlin, because we both really trusted her. And we felt like if we did a podcast with her, we knew that neither of us were going to like get exploited or dragged or get any kind of questions that were uncomfortable. I mean, the whole thing's kind of uncomfortable, but like, we never wanted, neither of us wanted to say anything that was going to make the other person look bad.
How kind of them. So this was the part when someone said, is she pretty much saying they didn't trust Nick? She's not saying that. She's not saying they didn't trust Nick. She's saying they trusted Caitlin, but maybe that's what she meant. All right. Yeah. Cause if you do, that's the problem is when you do a post-breakup podcast, you share your side of the story, and then the other person gets offended, so then they share their side. It gets pretty toxic. By them going on together, they were able to share a sort of a mutual respect for each other. They really are beautiful humans.
Because we both loved each other. Like, we truly did feel love for each other at like a human level before even a relationship. So, I think it's true. Like, people want to know. And I even see comments still where they're like, well, what happened? And I'm like, well, nothing happened. Like, he didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. We just weren't really compatible.
If something didn't happen, just make it up. I need a thumbnail title.
I honestly, that was such a cool move that you guys did that.
By the way, how cute for Sarah Heron over here with the nice little Christmas tree in the background. All right. I see you with that. You got the little kind of compact Christmas tree, right? Oh, yeah. Someone get under the mistletoe with you.
I've been covering this show for a long time, and I've never quite seen anything so like mutually like kind, and it was a choice you guys made in like a mutual environment, and it didn't seem forced. Like, you wanted to do that. It wasn't like on a live show, or it wasn't dramatic, and you could tell the love was there, and it was just really kind of mind-blowing to see, which sounds crazy, but it was. I mean, I don't know how you guys did that.
Yeah, we were apprehensive. Like, we went back and forth, and Clayton, I think, was a little bit more apprehensive than I was. But I think, so he had a big like media day coming up because he's got a lot going on. I think he's actually coming out with a book now. He has like his fitness program, like he has a lot of great things. And at the time I was also working on my blog. So I knew eventually we would be doing interviews, and I think he had a big media day coming up, and he was like, I think that even though he was like apprehensive at first, like, I think we should get ahead of it and like do something together to show that like this isn't about one side or the other.
Yeah. You also wrote, when I started to feel overwhelmed and got a desire to check up on my ex, I would intentionally not engage with those thoughts. Where do you guys stand today? Because I know you did leave that podcast like hoping to be friends, but knowing it might be difficult. It's been like 2 months. Do you still talk? Where are you guys?
No, we don't. I think that I was like very open-minded to how it would look like. Like I pretty much told Clayton, I was like, I'm comfortable with however, this is going to work for both of us. Like I respect you and I love you and I don't want to do anything that's going to be harmful for you, whether that's staying in touch or not staying in touch, because I felt like ultimately we both kind of knew that we were not compatible. And I think for him, he was able to express to me that he didn't think it was going to be good to stay in touch. So we don't really keep in touch, but he did send me a really...
We'll get to the next part. It makes it feel to me like Susie was the one who broke things off with Clayton, only because he's like not wanting to keep in touch with her. Because I respect that. I've dated people that they're like, we need, like, I don't want to. It's like, no. The transactional relationship was that we were boyfriend, girlfriend, and when that's gone, I don't want to see you. Your life moving forward, it's like you got to take care of yourself first. Some people some people will end up staying in touch with their ex because they want to prove to themselves that they're still like cool and they can play it off, and it's actually damaging to them. And some people can keep in touch with their ex because they're over things or whatever, and maybe they'll get to that point where they can like become friends again. But anyway, I feel like I understand Clayton's side where he's like, look, we got to like unfollow each other because like. You know how it is with the algorithms. They're like, oh, you dated so-and-so? Let's show you their new boyfriend. And it's like, we don't need to know that he drives a Lamborghini. We don't need to know that.
Nice message, like, I don't know, a month ago maybe. And it was just like it brought me to tears. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, it was just really nice for him to say, like, I'm so grateful for, like, everything that you did for me in our relationship. And like, I've been able to reflect, and I'm just truly grateful for...
Do me a favor, turn the stupid music off in the background, guys.
The friendship that we had at the end of the day. And that meant a lot to me. So like, yeah, it was really, really nice to hear from him, but we didn't like catch up on the phone, and we don't text or anything like that. But
Susie for Bachelorette, what do you guys think? Leave a comment. Would you like Susie for Bachelorette? I don't know, maybe. I think Susie would be pretty good for Bachelorette. I wonder if she's still in touch with the other ladies, Rachel and Gabby. There's a lot of single women. Rachel, Gabby, and Susie should all be Bachelorettes, right? Send them into the pit. All right. Anyway, I wanted to share my highlight of the week. This is me making my wife laugh. She was in the, we're stuck in this tiny little hotel room. I'll make a vlog about it on my vlog channel. I'll show you guys my setup. I'm recording all week from a ironing board, which I gotta say is actually a pretty good makeshift desk. I'll probably be using the ironing board desk moving forward because it's like long and skinny as we like it. Right, ladies? Anyway, here was my moment, my clip of the week right here for you. They're kind of idiots to think that you can go to Rome and not get recognized. I don't know why they think Rome is like Easter Island. You're in effing Rome. You're where every like dumb American tour group goes to be like, I saw the 16th chapel. The 15th wasn't that good. But I'll tell you, if the 16th is this good, I can't wait to see what the 20th looks at. My wife's laughing. What did they just do? They just spray painted the 16th chapel like that. It looks good. You see the guy, he's holding the grapes up with the naked babies running around. All right, so there it is, folks. Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic weekend. I've been Dave Neal. If you haven't already, make sure to check out Bachelor Rush Hour for the daily podcast that'll be released by 5 p.m. East Coast every single day. We'll talk to you all later. Have a fantastic one. Bye now.